What's going on YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do? And this is a unboxing and first impressions of the Cooluli. Cooluli. It is a cooler and warmer. The exciting thing about this is you can power it off of a battery bank. It will run in eco mode, so it won't be as good. Or you can use a cigarette lighter in your car and it'll be better and colder than the battery bank. Or you can use a wall outlet. So we're gonna go ahead and check it out. So they do have a 12 can and the 18 can one in case 6 just isn't enough for you. And that would be pretty awesome to be able to check those out in the future. We'll see. So in the box, we've got just the thing. Wow, that's very simple. All right. This one is the blue version. They do have a like Dalmatian polka dot one. They've got a pink one. They've got many different choices to choose from. So it's pretty awesome. It's very simple. It's got a little handle on the top to conveniently hold it. It's not heavy at all. And on the back side, we've got the switch between cold and warm. So you can keep your stuff warm in here or cool. I'm only strictly using the cool. Now you've got DC for if you're using 12 volts. Or you've got the AC for using a wall outlet. And then you got the little lights that show you if it's either hot or if it's cold. And then that little fan on the back. So inside, we've got our power cords. We've got our cable. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the battery bank here. And plug this into the back. Let's make sure we have everything out of here. And plug it into the DC. Cool, the lights come on, it's green, and this light comes on. Can feel a little bit of air going. It's just running off of 5 volts when you do this, so it's very, very low power. If you use the car outlet, like your cigarette lighter, this plug that it's included, or if you use the wall outlet, you're gonna get 12 volts, and I believe it runs at 3 amps. Don't quote me on that. All right, so we got plugged into a power strip here. We're gonna go ahead and plug this in. And now you can definitely hear the fans louder, and it's definitely pulling more air when you have it plugged into AC. I am definitely going to leave this on and keep it powered through a battery bank to see if it's even worth it to try that. But I also want to get a good impression of how cold it is with it plugged into a wall outlet. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill it up with 6 drinks here. I'm using an audio recorder on my phone for better audio. But it is currently 1:56 in the morning. So let's let this run for about 8 hours or so and see if it's better, like if it's cold, and if this is cold enough towards I'm like, yeah, that's that's fine. I'll take that. Then this thing will be amazing, absolutely amazing, because it'll just draw so little power. Maybe, just maybe, we'll see how cold it can get with a battery bank. If it just doesn't do much at all, then it's not going to ever be worth using. If you ever actually wanted to use a battery, I didn't mean to turn that light on, but this is an inverter, so we'll just basically flip this little switch here, plug it in, and I can hear that fan on the back, and now we've got this portable AC thing that does 100 watts, and it's powering that thing. So actually, let me just see in the morning what this goes down to if it's at 90% now. Let's see if it lasts for 8 hours on a charge. All right, so I went around and asked some family members and people what they thought of how cold the drinks were, and if they themselves would find them cold enough to drink. And the answer to everybody was yes. Hands down, this thing is amazing. I paid $45 roughly on Amazon for this thing. I did purchase it with my own money, and I honestly feel that it is totally worth every last penny. So, opening it up, pulling the drinks out without having a thermometer, that is refrigerator cold right there. That is cold. Now, the battery didn't last as long as I thought it would. At 90%, yesterday when I ended that part of the clip, I woke up this morning and it was dead, 100% dead. And the drinks were room temperature, so it had not lasted that long. Come to find out, this thing can pull 12 volts at 5 amps. It says energy consumption max equals 48. If you do the conversion of 12 volts, 5 amps, I believe, if my math is correct, that's 60 watts. So it did drain the battery on that thing, which is like a 50,000 milliamp hour. That was at 89%. It drained it. It killed it. And then the drinks were room temperature. These drinks have been in the fridge since 10:30 this morning, and it is currently 2 p.m. And according to the manual, if you read there at the bottom, it can take 2 to 3 hours to chill them if they're at room temperature. And that is correct. Roughly 3 hours later, these drinks are more than cold enough to drink, and I am blown away that something that uses just 12 volts and 5 amps can make these drinks so cold. They do have a bigger one, so my daughter has been absolutely loving this little thing and grabbing drinks out of it, and I've been putting them back in there. They do have a 12-can version that runs for roughly $80 and a 18-can version that runs for roughly $100. It would be pretty awesome to check those out in the future and give you a comparison and let you know if they're worth it. But for now, this little guy that holds 6 cans is absolutely dope. Absolutely love it. So now the next thing you're going to see is I'm going to use a battery bank, and it has an eco mode, and a battery bank runs at 5 volts, 2 amps. This guy likes to run at 12 volts, 5 amps. So that's like a third or fourth of the normal power it gets. I want to know what eco mode is and what it's capable of doing. And that's why I'm making this video. And this is my review and unboxing all in one. All right, so we went ahead and got 6 new drinks at room temperature. We're gonna use the USB cord and a almost full 26,800 milliamp hour battery. We're gonna go ahead and see how cold these can get on eco mode, because something that can run off a battery bank, why not run it off of a battery bank when you absolutely have no choice? So let's go ahead and fill it up, and then we will go to the bag here, plug this into the DC port, or I guess it's the 12 volt port here. Yeah, the DC. And we'll plug this in, and we'll flip it over to cold. And now it's running off of this battery. And like you saw initially, the fan is not as loud because it's running in 5 volts instead of 12 volts. And it's getting 2 amps instead of 5 amps. So we will see what this can do. It is currently 3:25, and we will be back at let's give it to like 8 o'clock. Let's give it to like 8 o'clock tonight. All right, so I didn't wait as long as I was initially going to. It is 7:29, so you can do the math on that. It's been about roughly 4.5 hours, somewhere around there. But I wanted to go ahead and give you my final review of this thing, and it's been running on the battery bank. And I also decided to go ahead and plug in this guy to it. Not related to the video at all, just kind of trying to see what this thing can do to a room temperature can. And honestly, it gets it roughly as cold as this does. Maybe like a degree, like difference, degree or two, not much. But it's so much louder. Like, it doesn't do it justice at all. You literally don't hear anything out of the fan. It really is so quiet that you have to really, really try to hear that fan. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you my thoughts on it running on battery. It was about 52, I think. So we're gonna compare that to it being on AC. But if I pull them out here, this is cold. This, I would say, is roughly like on a chilly night, leaving your drinks outside to get cold. That's what I would compare it to. Running on AC, this gets so cold that you actually like don't want to hold it for very long. It's pretty cold. It's refrigerator cold on AC. But this is more than cold enough for me to drink. I can drink this no problem. It's pretty cold, but it's not uncomfortable to touch. Put it to your cheeks and you're like, whew, that's cold. The drink itself is cold. If I had to run it on a battery bank in a situation where I didn't have access to an outlet, I would totally do it. If I was in a car and I didn't have an extra cigarette lighter to power this thing, I would use this. It'll get them cold enough for my liking. I could totally live with how cold they are in here. They're nice and cool. Now, plugging it into a wall outlet, and things change significantly. So like 53, 54, somewhere around there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and change this over to AC, and you're gonna see the difference. So let's go ahead and turn it off, unplug it, and plug in the AC. I'm gonna be quiet, I'm gonna flip the switch and let you see how cold this is, or the loudness of it. So roughly 20 points higher in volume, significantly louder than the battery bank. With the battery bank, you cannot hear the fan. You cannot hear it. With it on AC, you can hear it, but it's gentle. It doesn't bother me. It's not loud. It's just a nice little like hum. Like it's not bad at all. Then your drinks are gonna come out feeling like you left them in a refrigerator. It's so nice. I absolutely love this thing. I definitely cannot recommend it enough. I think if you're in a market for a little mini fridge to keep by your desk at work, keep it in your car, and keep your drinks cool on a long road trip and not worry about ice, turning into water and getting everywhere and then changing out for new ice. And this is really nice. I absolutely love this thing. If you liked the video, please give it a rating. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's where I'm the most active. This is What Would Josh Do? And I'm out.